my beauties and beasties out there. I'm DF, and welcome to Beauties and Beasts, a podcast of all things beautiful and beastly. Well, and Beauty and the Beast. I messed that up. Man, this has been one heck of a year, hasn't it? COVID, police brutality, the election. And I bet some of you felt like all hope is lost and you want to throw in the towel before COVID or a corrupt cop gets ya. Yeah, Chise definitely felt like that there was no hope when she almost jumped off a bridge, but then ended up selling herself at an auction instead. I am, of course, referring to the anime/manga, The Ancient Magus Bride, in which a 15-year-old girl purchased by a deer skull magus at an auction and to be his apprentice/future bride. Yeah, the plot may sound twisted, but as you watch/read the story, you'll find that the situation is a lot more complex than another Stockholm Syndrome case. I will mostly be talking about the anime, as to my knowledge, it is complete. I didn't see any plans for a second season, though a lot of us are hopeful for it, but it does have the approval of the author. But before I get into this, I want to thank my $5 plus patrons: Anime Guy 1101, Arvin Joshua Rocks 15, Bella Pink Savage, Cosmic Trail, and Tyrannosaurus Venom. I'm sorry I didn't upload a new Writing Beauties in November. It was actually busier for me than expected last month. And allergies have been a pain, even now. So if I end up blowing my nose in the middle of this, just bear with me. And well, last poll was a tie anyway for Writing Beauties, so I will cover both topics this December. You too can support this podcast by becoming a patron today. Just click that button or follow the link to patron.podbean.com/beautiesandbeasts, patron.podbean.com/beautiesandbeasts. Just a pledge of $1 a month for rewards will make a lot of difference. Or you can buy my merchandise on Redbubble. Just go to my Redbubble shop link at disneyfanatic23.redbubble.com. That's disneyfanatic23.redbubble.com. Buy holiday gifts now in time for Christmas, if you purchase them before December 10th if you want them to arrive in time. Or, Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating this December, I've got some non-Christmas items as well. And just remember that 10% of my November and December proceeds will be donated to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And we have raised a total of $29 so far, with the collective Redbubble sales and the patron pledges. But I think we can do better. But for now, just a hand to everybody who pledged in this month and last month, and to those who bought merchandise recently. I will be hosting a charity live stream this month for additional donations in exchange for answering questions and voice requests. And I just have to decide on a date because I am planning to gather some guests. It's a big maybe right now that I have the voices of Mothball and Chrysalis from Daughter of Discord, Kamikaze/Rack29 Roll, and True Sailor Comet, and possibly Pokey in My Pocket, who actually is a Make-A-Wish kid, though it will really depend when she gets out of the hospital from her recent surgery, when she'll be able to attend the stream to talk about her experience. So just be sure to follow this podcast on PodBean to be immediately notified of new episodes and public live streams. All right, so The Ancient Magus Bride manga, it was written by Kore Yamazaki. Forgive me if I butcher these names. And was published in November 2013 and currently with 14 volumes, and it's still ongoing. The anime ran from October 2017 to March 2018 with 24 episodes in one season. At this moment, unsure whether there will be a second season, but the first season is a pretty complete story on its own. And now, 24 episodes is a lot to cover, especially with the story's intricate plotline. And if I go through every single episode, just through and through, we're going to be here for a really long time. I don't think PodBean allows enough time for that. But I will cover the main points of the plot and the development of the main characters. And I'm also going to be jumping around quite a bit here, so bear with me. So, spoiler warning to those who haven't seen the anime or read the manga, and also a little bit of a trigger warning as this story includes mentions of gore, violence, suicide, and self-harm. We begin with our 15-year-old Japanese heroine, Chise Hattori, who has led a very traumatic life so far. After her father leaving her, her mother attempting to kill her before killing herself, being passed between uncaring relatives and everyone calling her a freak, she's decided that she's had enough. And she's about to jump off a bridge when a man comes by and says, if you think your life has no meaning, why not simply place it in the hands of someone who could put it to use? Yeah, right, because that is really great advice. And so Chise willingly signs herself to be sold at an auction of rare creatures. You see, Chise is a sleighbeggy, a type of human that attracts the fae, and an even rarer type of sleighbeggy, she can actually see the fae as well. Which is why people thought she was crazy, because she kept seeing things that they assumed were not there. And Chise is chained up and dressed in a white dress and shawl, almost like a bride. The bidding begins, and a tall, masked man steps on stage with a bid of 5 million and says that Chise will be his new apprentice. Chise doesn't care what happens to her. She just wants a place to call home. Like, geez, girl, do you have any idea what else you could have been sold for? Like, really? Her new owner introduces himself as Elias Ainsworth, a mage. Oh yeah, also, he has a deer skull for a head. Chise doesn't know what to make of him, but she doesn't really freak out about his appearance as she's kind of used to seeing weird stuff. Elias says that it's fortunate that she can see the fae, and Chise, in a PTSD moment, screams that she's never been fortunate in her life. And Elias says, well, maybe we can change that, and you will learn to carry yourself like someone worth looking at. He teleports her to a lovely cottage in the English countryside, where nobody has a British accent. Yeah, I mean it. I love the English dub voices of the main characters, but it's weird how no one in England, at least in this show, has an English accent. Elias I'll give a pass because he's not native to the country, same with Chise, but everyone else, what's their excuse? I mean, I can confirm, there aren't that many Americans/Canadians living in England. Yeah, the subtitle one, yeah, that's good too, but I have to admit, the English version of Chise actually sounds like that she's 15. That's kind of why I prefer it. Anyway, Elias says his home is Chise's home, and he breaks her chains with magic and a really cool cinematic moment. And then he forces her into a bath. Not in a sexual way, but because he thinks that she doesn't know how to use the tub, and you guess he doesn't know how to handle people? Once she is washed, Chise is told that Elias thinks she has the potential as a sleighbeggy to do magic, but will not force her down that path if she doesn't want to. It's just one of the many possible paths that she could go down while she's with him. Yeah, I wonder what that means. Then when Chise is almost stolen away by mischievous fairies, she decides to stay with Elias rather than escape into a paradise where there'd be no troubles. Even if she's just a plaything, Elias was the first one to make her feel welcome, like she had a home, like she was family, even if it was just for one day so far. And then Elias steps in, rescues her from the fairies. Instead of scolding her for her foolishness, he calmly lectures her to be more careful in the future. Although, in hindsight, he probably should have let her know that fairies are not exactly to be trusted. As he carries her home, he lets slip that though he purchased her to be his apprentice, he also hopes to make her his bride. Yeah, smooth dear boy moves in fast. But don't worry. As the series goes on, Chise helps Elias aid the Fae and also battle evil forces. She makes new allies, such as a church grimdog spirit named Ruth, who becomes her familiar / surrogate big brother / protector, and Alice, an alchemist's apprentice, who is an enemy at first, but eventually becomes a gal pal. Elias, thank goodness, doesn't rush Chise into the whole marriage prospect. I mean, she is 15. But they do grow closer in other ways that aren't sexual or even necessarily romantic, at least by our usual standards. We learn that Elias is a sort of fae, but not quite. Like Chise, he's never really belonged anywhere. I don't think they specify exactly what he is, per se, or rather that he has a lot of names, but he kind of has the semblance of a Wendigo from what I've seen. And that he used to be much more animalistic, even ate humans before getting amnesia. Some things in the backstory aren't really explained in detail. Maybe they'll be explained more in the manga as it goes on. There are times when Elias's emotions get out of control and he turns into a real beast, like... he tries not to hurt anybody, but he also really can't control his form. And though he is hundreds of years old, Elias is like a child emotionally, not understanding human emotions, but finds himself learning from Chise as he teaches her magic. It's like he is not welcome in the fairy world, and so he's kind of assimilated himself into the human world in whatever way he can. But like Chise, he's just trying to find a place where he belongs. Honestly, Elias and Chise's relationship is one of the most complex I've seen in an anime, or any romance for that matter. At times, they act like they're husband and wife, even when they're not married, but at other times, they act like parent and child. And I'm not just talking about one of them taking the role as a parent. Sometimes it's reversed, as Chise is literally a child, and Elias sometimes acts like one, and Chise kind of has to step into the mother role. At first, Elias treats Chise like a pet, calling her his puppy, wanting her to depend on him for everything, washing her forcefully, and putting a tracker pendant on her like a collar. He literally calls it a collar. Well, this is how it is at first anyway, as he doesn't know how to make proper connections with people. We even learn that slave beggies' lives are limited. And they have fragile bodies that the more Chise uses magic and the closer she can get to death. And Elias was training her as a sort of experiment to see how long she would last, or rather if he would find a way to overcome that limitation, at least according to some alchemists they made who don't like Elias very much. Elias has lived so long and so is so thirsty for knowledge that he doesn't always take into account how his actions will affect others. Now, Chise is not mad when she learns this, and thinks even if he can't find a cure for her weak body, she wants to use the time she has left to be useful to him and to others. Yeah, I know, it's not very healthy thinking. Hey, relationships aren't perfect, and this one definitely isn't at first. But that's what character development is for. The more time Chise spends with Elias and explores the fairy world, the more she wants to use her newfound magic to help others, even if it drains her of her energy, almost to a point of self-destruction. And Elias finds that he doesn't like this self-destructive behavior of hers, despite it being his idea for her to learn magic, and he hates how she keeps getting hurt at the expense of others. At several points, he acts like an overprotective dad. But, with kind of good reason, as she does get into so much danger and her life is really limited, unlike his. Although there are times when his wanting to protect her goes so far and even becomes borderline possessiveness. When a mage academy seeks Chise out to come and study there, he kills the messenger bird and doesn't even tell Chise of the opportunity, as he wants her to stay with him so he won't feel lonely. He even goes so far as to almost sacrifice Chise's young gal pal Stella in order to save Chise's life. Okay, granted, she was also possessed by a really messed up alchemist, mage, whatever he was. But still, he actually could have used anybody for the ritual, but Elias had chosen Stella specifically because he was jealous of all the time they spent together and how Chise confided in Stella and she never confided in him. Well, in fairness, Elias, you kind of rarely confide in Chise, too. You both have those emotional walls. And yeah, you can bet Chise was very mad at this. She did not let that one go. As for Chise, she really grows as a character, more so than I've seen from most anime heroines. She goes from being totally uncaring, passive, and submissive, letting others make the decisions for her, to standing up for herself and the people that she cares about, and taking initiative. Instead of throwing her life away, she chooses to do something with it, of her own accord. And she learns to call Elias out whenever he's going too far, without any fear. Elias sets her on the path to where she is now, but the other people she meets also inspire her and make her feel self-worth. And Elias, through all the idiotic things he does, eventually learns the complexity of human emotions. That, as much as he wants to protect Chise, he needs to allow her space to make her own decisions. Even if it is a pretty crazy world they live in and her life is limited, yeah, let her do what she wants. Oh, within reason. He learns some things about himself, too, that he didn't necessarily want an apprentice or an experiment or a pet or even a wife when he bought Chise, but rather he wanted a companion who wouldn't fear or despise him. He and Chise are comfortable around each other, and when she goes to his former teacher to make her own wand, Elias finds that the house is very quiet and cold, and Chise says, well, it's because he feels loneliness. And Elias likes that not only is he teaching her things, but she's teaching him things, and they can learn from each other. People say that their relationship is more familial than romantic, but you know what? Why can't it be both? After all, when people get married, aren't they technically family then? And when people are together for a long time, if the marriage is strong, they will act more like best friends in their golden years with not as much sexual activity. That's what I love about this anime. The romance is natural, casual, and not overtly sexual like most romance animes. Or, it's not even goofy. It just feels real. I mean, granted, it's in a fantastical setting, but the emotions behind it are real. Maybe that's why some fans don't really see Elias and Chise as romantic, because they have this shared delusion of what romance and marriage should be like. But it's not always that cut and dry, as fall in love, have sex, or in a PG setting, kiss a lot and get married, live happily ever after, and have romantic candlelit dinners every single night. Even in a fantasy setting, romance is not that simple. It's probably why most marriages fail, because they expect to always be exciting / steamy, or at least have romantic candlelit dinners every night or week or so. Elias and Chise go through a lot of craziness, but they find solace in even the tamest of situations. From shearing flying sheep to putting up Yuletide decorations to simply enjoying meals. Not big fancy meals, but just regular breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They act like family before they're even married. You don't really need much to form an emotional bond. In fact, I think their relationship can best be described as queer platonic or quasi-platonic, which I recently learned about, so correct me if I'm wrong when I'm describing this. In the simplest of terms, a queer platonic or quasi-platonic relationship is when you're partners with your best friend. In some cases, it means you are so close to your best friend, you decide, you might as well get married, without romantic strings attached. Not friends with benefits either, as it's not a sexual attraction. And it works so well as there's no pressure from either party in being extra romantic. Is it weird that I might be up for something like this? Well, we never learn if Chise and Elias' relationship ever becomes physical, as the manga is still going, and we don't know if there's going to be a second season to the Ancient Magus Bride. They do share a peck under the mistletoe, which is pretty much the extent of the physical with them. And they do share a bed together, but, they never sleep together, if you know what I mean. They just lie next to each other and keep each other safe and warm. But the anime's first season does end with Chise meeting Elias in the woods in a white gown and veil. And he says, "Are you what beautiful is?" And she gives him a ring and tells him of all that she has learned in the last year, now that she is 16, and that he alone didn't help her get to where she is today, but it still wouldn't have happened without him. They are going to have problems, so with his temper and with her recklessness, but they will work through them together, as long as they talk it out. And she wants him to walk beside her going forward. And then scooping her up, bridal style, of course, he says, "Of course, you are my bride, are you not?" And she says, "Yes." You might argue that Chise is too young for this, so it's creepy, but you know what? Actually, the legal age of consent in both Japan and England is 16. So, given that they don't, marry, I think that's pretty much what happened at the end, until Chise is 16, it's actually okay for the distributing country and where the story takes place. One should always take cultural differences into account. Like in Romania, where I used to where I used to live. Some of the Roma children got married at 13. Not saying I necessarily agree with the practice, but facts. The anime as a whole is visually stunning, and the script is so beautiful. I mean, in the dub and the sub. Every line just feels deep and meaningful, except for the occasional comic relief, when Chise wakes up and the Fairy King Oberon's just right in her face and holding her hand, and she's like, "Who is this strange person?" Like, "Hi there," and then she just runs straight to Elias, and Oberon's like, "Rejected." And despite the lack of English accents in the dub, I love how Chise actually sounds 15, and Elias's voice is fitting for the English version. Deep, but yet gentle. It's pretty cool in the Japanese version, too. I love how complex and flawed the characters are, and they feel real. Like they could be real, even if this is a fantasy. And I love the take on English and Irish folklore. Because, as much as I love fairies, very few fantasy tales nowadays capture their initially mischievous and sometimes dangerous nature. Stealing people away, playing tricks on people. That was how they were in folklore originally. And I like how, despite this being a romance, the main characters have their own independent character growth. It just goes to show that a relationship shouldn't be codependent. Both parties should have room to be their own person, but they should still be there for each other when needed. It's like they grow alongside each other rather than they change just for the benefit of another person. And I can actually believe the natural progression of the main couple. It's not rushed, and when they get to the point at the end, I feel like everything's just built up to this point, and it is Chise's choice to be with Elias rather than, okay, you bought me to be your bride, I might as well just go along with it. And it's a rare feat for most anime I've seen to not really rush the main couple. Definitely one of my favorite animes so far, and I'm glad my fans suggested that I watch this. Alright, so that is everything I have on my notes, because, like I said, a lot happens in this anime, and so much so I won't have time to cover it all, but those are the main points. So if anyone has any questions about the topic or anything else about the podcast or anything else they like to say, please do. I have my $10 plus patrons in the chat right now. You too can join these private live streams. Just become a patron today. Or you can pledge $5 a month to get these recordings before they're released to the public. So, Cosmic Trail and Bella Pink Savage, do you have anything you'd like to add to the conversation before I announce the next episode topic? And while you're thinking of that, I will have some water. Now, thank goodness my nose is finally cleared up. I've been blowing my nose all night. Oh, actually, while you're thinking of that, apparently I have some brand new sound effects. Let's see how they go. Okay, that's new. Aha, but I'm tough. That was a creepy laugh before, and not a laugh track. Correct. And what is this one? Countdown? Yeah, I did not see these before. I've just noticed them.
10.
9, oh, shoot!
7, 6.
I'm gonna remember this one for next time.
3, 2, 1.
Oh my goodness, there's a lot here. Ooh, magic spell! If only I found this earlier. Who wants to hear the rest? Ooh, I like this one. Ooh, this one. This is a good one. This will be really helpful for the next one. Aha, drum roll and... Okay, and last one. Horror? What does this say? Ooh. Okay, I'm definitely going to remember this, because this is actually appropriate for the next episode topic. Okay, it looks like no one has anything to add, but I see you guys really dug those new sound effects. I'll find ways to work them in. Alright, so next time, December 17th, episode 52 will be the Christmas special. And the Christmas special will be, drumroll please, The Nightmare Before Christmas! For Christmas instead of Halloween, because I'm running out of Christmas stories relevant to Beauty and the Beast. Although the Beauty and the Beast relationship in this movie is sort of a B-plot, you have to admit that Sally and Jack Skellington are an unconventional couple, and I think really apply to the Beauty and the Beast theme, in their own way. So, stay tuned for the charity stream this month, and get your gold beans ready. All are welcome, not just patrons, as this is for charity. On Cosmic Trail, luckily I can watch that on Disney+. I think it's on Disney+. Yes, it is on Disney+. Nightmare Before Christmas. Be sure to watch it. Yeah, so make sure to follow the podcast so you can know when the next live stream is. And if you're going to buy holiday merch, just 9 more days on Redbubble in order for your order to arrive by Christmas. Okay, so until next time, and remember, love shouldn't be 100% codependent. There are kind people in this world, no matter how bleak it may seem. And if you want to buy a bride who will love you unconditionally, then buy one. Oh, no, wait, scratch that last one. I think that's going to be my sign-off sound effect for now.